Hi, I'm Vincent Welch of Vince's Wooden Wonders, and I'd like to welcome you to my shop. A while back I invited folks to write in, reach out to me, ask me questions, however I could help you. And I've had a lot of questions in regards to backup pads, so I thought we'd take a few moments, talk about backup pads, some do's, some don'ts, what it is that I suggest to raise your success and lower your sanding frustration as it relates to backup pads. The first backup pad that we're going to talk about is probably one that we're most familiar with. This has a foam that's about 3/4 inch thick. It's a latex foam. It's a firm pad. And what I always suggest to people is that when you start off sanding, in regards to backup pads, always try to use a good firm pad. I know it can be tempting, and I know that there are very soft backup pads out there available. And while that can be tempting, what ends up happening, what my experience has been and what it is that I've seen, is that when you start off with those soft pads, especially in the lower grits, such as 80, 100, 120, while they allow you to move around curves and angles, so forth, and that they flex and they're a little more spongy, what ends up happening is that you end up with a heat issue because the pad isn't really providing you the support that you need to really get the job done at those lower grits. So you end up raising that heat. Your Velcro then starts to melt. Your discs no longer stay on the pad if you're going from a sanding disc directly onto a backup pad, and we know that that just doesn't work. So again, use a good firm pad starting off. If you put the disc directly on the pad, or if you use the interface pads, which I suggest you do. There is a tutorial on the website in regards to interface pads. It's about 9 minutes long. Feel free to take a look at that one, at that video as well. Backup pads, let's get back to it. So this pad, about 3/4 inch thick, very nice Velcro on the front side, as well as a metal shank. A lot of these come with a plastic shank. They're black in color. You would never know it if I hadn't told you so. But they are plastic. Generally, you don't have problems with them, but it is good to know what it is that you're getting for your money. So these have a nice metal shank on them. This backup pad works very well. And I've offered it for years without issue. Another backup pad that I also carry, and I'm having this one made specifically to my specs. This has a foam that's about 1/4 inch as opposed to 3/4 inch. It's a low profile, and this might help you get into places that you otherwise might struggle, such as under lips and so forth. This has really taken off and has become the favorite among a lot of turners. Again, you got the metal shank. And also the backup plate itself goes out farther to the edge, so you get that additional support. Now I will say, whether you're using this sort of backup pad or the first one that I've shown you, if you are having issues to where the foam is ripping in the middle, and so many people do, you're not alone, just know that generally that's due to strong arming it, applying too much pressure. And that can often happen because we're not getting the results that we want. Two things happen when we get frustrated in regards to sanding, and they're the two opposite things that we really want happening. The first is when we get frustrated because we're not getting the results we want, generally we tend to turn up the speed. Crank up the speed with our piece, whether it be on the lathe or with the drill itself. And the second thing that we do is we tend to start strong arming it. We start muscling it. And that, again, raises heat. Back off. Go the opposite direction. Back off the speed, back off the pressure. Make sure that you're using good, fresh abrasives. Let the abrasive do the work. It's not a job of sheer muscle mass. So if you are tearing the foam, be sure to back off your arm, your muscle strength, and let the abrasive do the work. So we've covered two here. We've got the 3/4 inch foam pad as well as the 1/4 inch foam pad. And this one, again, the backing plate goes almost out to the edge. And that gives you the support that you need because you're not going to have really any tearing of the foam. So if tearing of the foam is something that often happens to you and you just can't seem to back off of it, this might be a backup pad worth considering. In addition to those two, finally, I have one that has a backup pad that goes all the way out to the edge. Now, this one has a foam on it that's about maybe 3/16 thickness. It's a nice firm pad, but the Velcro on this is very heavy duty. And I call this a tough Velcro backup pad. And I'll give you a close-up of this down in the box right here. But again, metal backing, metal shank, a backing pad that goes all the way out to the edge, as well as a very, very durable, heavy Velcro on this as well. Now, these are available in both 3-inch and 2-inch that I offer. However, when we get into the 1-inch, we're going to have to add a couple of variables. Let's talk about what we do have that's going to be standard and in line with the others that we've offered. The first is going to be, again, the 3/4 inch foam. It's a good firm latex foam. It's got the metal shank, pretty standard. In addition to that, we've got the low profile Velcro, the low profile foam. Again, the standard, very nice Velcro. It's a medium Velcro with a metal shank, very nice backup pad. And for those of you who watched the other video, who know that I often offer interface pads, and I suggest using the interface pads with the 1-inch setup. Because of the diameter just being 1 inch, we're not able to offer interface pads that are really going to hold. I've tried. So what we do with these, we're going to use a good firm 1-inch backup pad and take it through the grits such as 80, 100, 120, 150, 180. When we get up to about 220 or so, at that point, you know, we're really fine sanding and we can back off. And with that, we have just a very soft 1-inch backup pad that works very nice. Again, you don't want to get into using this with the lower grits, even though you might be tempted to. Leave this for the higher grits. Also, with these 1-inch backup pads, whichever one you decide to go with, one thing to keep in mind, the diameter of this obviously is 1 inch. It travels pretty quick, and what that means is that you have to be very cognizant of the pressure and the speed, because you can burn the Velcro off of these much quicker than you would be able to, say, a 3-inch, for example. So just something to keep in mind. And finally, in the 1-inch, I offer something that's somewhat unique. I have a radiused edge backup pad, and this allows, again, it has the radiused edge. It allows for the disc to somewhat slightly roll over a little bit. Might help you get into places that you otherwise might struggle. Again, here we're trying to find solutions to issues and problems that people are having in regards to sanding, and that's why we have such a variety of backup pads. So in short, that's just a quick sample tutorial of backup pads, what it is that I suggest in regards to using them. Hopefully you'll use these in addition to the interface pads. And of course, if you have any questions, you can contact me right here, vinceswoodandwonders.com. I very much appreciate you checking in. Look forward to more videos coming out soon. I think we've got the lighting situation straightened out, so we're in good shape, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.